You keep telling yourself you overthink, that your mind won't shut up, that thoughts trap you, that if only your brain were quieter, your life would move. That story feels true, but it isn't. You don't overthink because you think too much. You overthink because you refuse to move. Pause. Thinking is not your problem. Avoidance is. You sit with ideas instead of decisions. You analyze instead of acting. You replay instead of choosing. Not because you're confused, but because confusion feels safer than consequence. Pause. Overthinking gives you an excuse to stay still. It lets you feel busy without being exposed. It creates the illusion of progress without risk. As long as you're thinking, you don't have to commit. As long as you're thinking, nothing can judge you. As long as you're thinking, you can delay failure. Pause. You call it preparation, but preparation doesn't take years. You call it caution, but caution doesn't paralyze. You call it intelligence, but intelligence doesn't hide forever. Pause. Overthinking is not depth. It is hesitation dressed up as complexity. You already know what you need to do, not the entire path, just the next honest step. And that's what you avoid. Pause. You avoid it because once you act, the fantasy dies. The fantasy of potential, the fantasy of one day. As long as you don't move, you can still believe you might become something. Once you move, reality answers back. And reality doesn't negotiate. Pause. So you stay in your head, where nothing is final, where nothing is measured, where nothing can reject you. Your thoughts become a hiding place. Pause. Notice how detailed your excuses are. Notice how convincing they sound. Notice how reasonable delay feels. That's not accident. That's defense. Pause. You tell yourself you're waiting for clarity. But clarity comes after movement, not before it. You tell yourself you're waiting for confidence. But confidence follows action. It doesn't precede it. You tell yourself you're waiting for the right time. But the right time never arrives for people who wait. Pause. What you're really waiting for is certainty. And certainty is the one thing life does not give. So you stall, you loop, you rehearse, and then you call it overthinking. Pause. Look closer. Your mind isn't loud all the time. It gets loud when you're close to doing something uncomfortable. It gets loud when a choice would cost you something. It gets loud when pretending becomes harder. That's not a thinking problem. That's an avoidance reflex. Pause. Avoidance feels calm at first. Then it rots into anxiety. Then anxiety disguises itself as overthinking. And you blame your mind instead of your decisions. Pause. You don't need better thoughts. You need fewer escapes. You don't need more insight. You need fewer delays. You don't need to understand yourself more. You need to stop protecting yourself from outcomes. Pause. This isn't about productivity. It's about honesty. You avoid action because action reveals who you are right now, not who you imagine you could be. And that gap hurts. Pause. So you stay suspended, neither failing nor succeeding, neither exposed nor fulfilled, just thinking. Pause. Notice how tired you are, not from effort, from restraint, from holding yourself back, from carrying decisions you never make. Thinking burns energy when it goes nowhere. Pause. Your mind keeps circling because you never let it land. It keeps asking questions because you never answer with action. It keeps spinning because stillness would require commitment. Pause. Overthinking ends the moment avoidance ends, not when thoughts stop, but when movement starts. And movement doesn't require confidence. It requires permission. Permission you refuse to give yourself. Pause. You're not afraid of failing. You're afraid of finding out that effort won't save you from judgment, from limits, from truth. So you choose endless thought over finite reality. Pause. At some point, this becomes a choice, not a habit, not a trait, a choice you make every day. Pause. You can keep blaming your mind. It's convenient. It sounds sophisticated. Or you can admit something quieter that you've been hiding. Pause. Nothing dramatic happens when you stop avoiding. No explosion, no revelation. Just a simple, uncomfortable shift. From thinking about life to participating in it. Pause. And once you do that, your thoughts won't disappear. They'll just stop controlling you. Because they were never the problem. Pause. Avoidance was. And you already know it.